Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 10.
7 people were detained by Moorhead Police during a disturbance just before 6 tonight. Investigators blocked off an area after a call of one man being threatened with a gun at a home in the 400 block off of 16th Street South. For a time, officers were seen with shields and guns drawn. They were able to clear the home and took the 7 people in for questioning.
These can be very confusing at times. The person that was reporting it said that he had been over at this house. There was a disturbance that happened. Everybody in the house, including the person that had the gun pointed at him, they all know each other. They're all acquaintances. During this disturbance, he said that he had a gun pointed at him and was threatened with the gun. So that prompted our response.
Voxland added that they're still trying to determine what charges are appropriate. No injuries were reported.
Numbers started climbing and they started climbing and they started climbing, and then boom, we get that 20 number, and it's just like, it's like a ton of bricks hit you.
Testing is far from over at a Mayville assisted living facility. Lutheran Memorial Home went from 0 to 20 positive COVID-19 cases in less than 24 hours. Valley News Team's Courtney Lockie talked with one man who lives there.
Unsettling news for many living and working at Lutheran Memorial Home in Mayville.
Numbers started climbing and they started climbing and they started climbing, and then boom, we get that 20 number, and it's just like, it's like a ton of bricks hit you.
The facility confirming Wednesday that 20 people tested positive for COVID-19, including 13 staff members and 6 residents. But what has Larson and others at the facility so shaken up? None of the 20 are showing any symptoms.
It was sitting on pins and needles wondering, I know that if I were to get coronavirus that, you know, I could end up in the hospital on a ventilator like I was 2 years ago.
Over 300 staff members and residents were tested Monday after Governor Doug Burgum called for all nursing homes to do so. All affected staff are quarantining at home. As for those living in the facility, no one is allowed to leave their rooms, and the 6 residents are being isolated in a different part of the building.
You know, then you add on, we've been locked down since March, and not being able to see family has made it really tough.
It's been tough for people like Larson, but he says he's thankful the staff is working to keep everyone safe, including preparations for a second mass testing next week. In Mayville, Courtney Lockie, Valley News Live.
We have the facility's full statement online. Just download the Valley News Live app. When economic restrictions first started to loosen in North Dakota, Governor Doug Burgum said it was going to be about managing risk. The state has seen outbreaks in long-term care facilities before, but now they are becoming a pattern. The state plans to release guidelines soon for reopening senior facilities to the public, but when they're implemented is uncertain, especially after testing uncovered COVID-19 cases in Trail and Morton counties.
Those 2 locations, again, are reminders to us that we have some counties that have still not yet had a positive case in North Dakota and should count themselves fortunate, but that does not mean that perhaps the virus isn't present because these 2 sort of outbreaks, if you want to call them, were discovered during our intentional effort to test all 218 facilities in the state.
The governor explained the uptick in numbers was based on targeted testing. North Dakota is reporting 4 more deaths and 102 new cases in the state. All of the latest deaths are from Cass County. They are all having underlying health conditions. This brings the death toll in North Dakota to 49. There are 2,095 positive cases in the state. 1,302 people have recovered. The CDC website has updated how the COVID-19 virus can spread, and that there's less chance that it can spread by touching surfaces or other objects. Valley News Team's Alexandra Kay talked with experts who explained that the main way the virus is spreading remains the same.
Since the start of the pandemic, the big question has been, how is the virus spreading? The CDC website previously stated that the virus could spread from contaminated surfaces. It read, spread from contact from contaminated surfaces may be possible. The updated site looks a bit different. The CDC is now saying that the virus does not spread easily in other ways. North Dakota Department of Health officials say that although the wording is different, the message is the same.
I definitely think that is something that was probably just reworded to reassure the public that this is not the primary mode of transmission. Really, the mode of transmission that we're concerned about is, when with all respiratory diseases, is through respiratory droplets and transmission between person to person.
The virus is still known to live on surfaces for hours and even days. However, experts say that isn't the main way it's spread.
That as you are touching other objects, doorknobs, and then particularly touching your face, we know that the virus gets in through our mucous membrane, so through your eyes, your nose, your mouth. That will facilitate the transmission.
Experts say that continuing to clean surfaces is a good idea, but keeping up with social distancing along with other hygienic measures is the most important part in keeping you safe.
I would encourage people to continue to do those disinfecting activities, but again, I can't overemphasize that. I think the main one is, good hand hygiene and good hand washing.
Dr. Vetter adds that activities like singing, where respiratory droplets are propelled, has shown to spread the virus. In Fargo, Alexandra Kay, Valley News Live.
The CDC website also states that the virus does not easily spread from animals to people or vice versa. Minnesota is reporting another 29 deaths from the virus in the state. The death toll now stands at 777, with 635 of them living in a nursing home or assisted living facility. 9 deaths are still listed as probable, meaning there's no test result on file. The total case count increased by 645 to 17,670. 12,227 no longer need isolation. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz announced the phased plan for bars, restaurants, and other businesses to reopen next month. Under the plan, restaurants will be able to host outdoor dining starting June 1st, provided that social distancing will be enforced. That means no more than 50 patrons will be seated at a time. The governor says he's trying to slowly ramp up social activities in businesses so as to avoid having the virus boil over. Salons will also be able to open at the start of the month, provided they reduce capacity to 25% and have staff wear personal protective equipment. Restrictions will remain in place for gyms and fitness centers. Despite following strict CDC guidelines, the North Moorhead Fire Department station says it's dealing with a COVID-19 outbreak. While officials couldn't give us an exact number, several sources told us about 60% of the employees there have been infected. Fire Chief Rich Dyson says in the meantime, they'll have limited response out of their North Station. But he assures area residents they're still in good hands if they need help, saying there will be minimal impact to the department's response time.
So if it's a medical call or whatever, we'll have 1 or 2 people here for the next few days. And then we are still responding out of our station on 20th Avenue. And then we have mutual aid with both north side stations in Fargo where they can come over and still meet our response times.
Dyson says West Fargo, Dilworth, and Horace fire departments will also help out when needed. He adds so far all those impacted or infected with the virus are recovering at home and have not needed hospitalization. The 107th Annual Clay County Fair has been postponed until 2021. The Fair Board of Directors recently made the decision amidst concerns of the COVID-19 pandemic. Board members say that they'll be using this extra time to work on projects and complete upgrades to buildings and grounds. We're just a few days away from ending our virtual food drive to help the Great Plains Food Bank, and we need a little more help reaching our goal. Thanks to your generosity, we've already raised more than $28,000 to benefit the food bank. The goal is $30,000 in this virtual food drive. So if you'd like to join in the cause and help us reach that goal, check out valleynewslive.com or the VNL News app and look for this button.
Well, a windy but beautiful day across the valley and in Grand Forks at the home of economy, capturing a time lapse here of the setting sun. Just fantastic as temperatures slipping now down into the 60s for many. Wind gusts today kissed 40 miles per hour for many in central and eastern North Dakota. And here is a look at the radar. Out to the west, some storms are a-brewing. Out in Colorado, northeast Colorado, severe thunderstorm for Weld County up there, as some hail making its way through there and some land spouts sighted up in northeast Colorado. These storms racing northward towards the Highway 2 corridor in northeast Montana between, say, Culbertson and Glasgow, Montana, is where they're on their way towards. For us, very quiet, and the clouds that were stapled over the valley for much of the day cleared, making the evening the best time of the day, really, here in Fargo. The wind, 6 miles per hour at Hector at the top of the hour. 66 degrees in both Moorhead and at Hector. 64 for Detroit Lakes. Fergus Falls, you have 66 degrees. Up north is where it was warm. Once again, in the 80s for Roseau and the Badette area right now, upper 60s for Badette, 64 in Cavalier and in Jamestown. The winds are still gusting in the James and Cheyenne River basins as we have gusts there still over 25 miles per hour. Clear for now, but as I set this into motion, watch the clouds on the left side of your screen. They increase as we go towards daybreak. So we'll have increasing clouds. Those clouds will keep temperatures from getting too cool. We're going to be in the 60-degree range to start our day in most areas. And yes, the wind arrows are smattered across the board as the wind will be picking up as we go through mid-morning. And by noon, we will already have gusts upwards of 35 miles per hour once again. Temperatures will be in the low 70s by midday and climbing into the upper 70s for many of us as we'll see hit and miss showers and thunderstorms start to try to develop in the afternoon hours in the eastern third of North Dakota. Notice our model doesn't show very much on the future radar here as far as any thunderstorms in the area, but there will be a chance of some passing showers and thunderstorms, mainly late. Most of us will see absolutely nothing. A few of us will get some drops of rain, certainly not enough to get everybody a drink of water to get those crops off on the right foot. 62 degrees there to start your day in Fargo, warming through the 60s in the morning. We spend our afternoon with gusty conditions over 25 miles per hour and temperatures climbing toward the 80-degree mark and spending most of our evening in the 70s as the wind quiets down. Best chance of showers will be, say, between 5 and 11 p.m. in eastern North Dakota, and temperatures in the eastern third will be a little cooler than out to the east as a result of those clouds and shower chances. Hey, line up the turtles and let's have a race. Candy capturing this rack of turtles there, hanging out, catching some sun in the gully area. And this dog here wanted to go for a swim. I think it's still just a little chilly for that. That's in Deer Creek. Thanks for your photo uploads. Here's a look at Friday. A better chance of some scattered showers, particularly from the Red River and into Minnesota on Friday. Will be cooler in the low 70s. The 3-day weekend is upon us. Late on Saturday, most of Saturday, very good and 80 degrees, but late and into Sunday, a chance for some showers, and then those showers hit and miss on Sunday as well. Memorial Day looking quiet and 76. Mike?
All right, thanks so much, Hutch. Students with special needs are facing even more difficulties with distance learning. We're going to take a look at unequal education up next on Valley News Live 10 at 10.